I am Mitali Vinod, and on behalf of Gain Skills Business Media Private Limited, presenting partner Avalara, co-presenting partner co-presented by award partner ClearTax, gold partner NextDime, Microvista, silver partner Jamku, business development partner Ava, and media partner Zex. I warmly welcome you to the Next Gen Tax Innovation Conflicts and Awards 2024. We are excited to have you here today at Novotel Pune, where industry leaders, innovators, and experts come together to discuss the future of taxation and share insights that will shape the next generation of tax practices in India. Today's event is about fostering connections, exchanging knowledge, and recognizing excellence in the field of taxation. Throughout the day, we will have the opportunities to engage in thought-provoking discussions, hear from industry pioneers, and celebrate innovation in tax practices. I invite you to immerse yourself in the enriching experience, connect with the industry peers, and glean valuable insights that will propel our organization towards sustained success. Thank you for joining us on this journey of inspiration, collaboration, and recognition. Welcome to the Next Gen Tax Innovation Conflicts and Awards 2024. With this note, let me introduce our keynote speaker for the day, and on the topic mastering global tax compliance amid changing landscape. For this, I would like to call Mr. Biswa Chatterjee, Global Director Tax, Digitalization, Group Tax, Danfoss. Mr. Biswa is an ethical, passionate, and transparent leader, highly experienced in handling the entire gamut of finance for large manufacturing and service organization. He has more than 20 years of experience in finance and accounting organization of renowned corporation. Currently, he is a global head of tax projects at Danfoss Power Solutions. He has held multiple senior leadership roles, including commercial control of the Asia Pacific Hydraulics business at Eaton Corporation, General Manager and Head of Finance at Eaton India Hydraulics business, Head of Finance and Controller at Immersis Carbonate India, and CFO at Solvay India, specially polymers business. As a part of the leadership team of the business, he held pivotal roles in achieving desired financial and operational metrics and enabling business growth. With this note, I would like to call Mr. Biswa on the dais. Let's give a huge round of applause for Mr. Biswa.
Am I audible? Good morning, and thank you for inviting me for speaking on this occasion, and welcome to all of you. Mitali has given a lot of introduction for me. I am not that big person. I am just trying to support the organizations wherever I have given opportunity to work on. But thank you anyway, Mitali. You know, today my topic, I am expecting to talk about mastering global tax compliance amid changing landscape. Now, I will share here because you all are masters. You are here, that means you are masters. I don't have to talk about technicalities. But what I am going to share here is my experience, what I have seen in many companies working, what we expect to do, because sometime from finance, we are too much into the technicalities and nitty-gritties of the compliance. But some of the basic things, what we need to do, that will be my endeavor to share with all of you today. Is it making sense? Will it be interesting? Because I am sure you all are masters in technical parts. I am not going to share about any of the laws or any of the rules and regulations. You know, the first thing, what I have experienced working in many multinationals over many years, is that there are two things we have seen changing over the years. I have started working with multinationals in 2004 and now it is in 2024. You know, over 20 years, we have seen that the business ways and business processes, the geopolitical landscape is changing, the ways the multinationals are doing business, those are changing. Earlier, the tax rules were mostly based on bricks and mortars, nexus and physical presence. That was based, the entire tax system was based on these three criteria. But is this what is happening today? Are this physical presence, nexus, these are relevant? Anybody can do business from anywhere around the globe. How we are managing. Sometime, when I started working on transfer pricing right from 2004, and at that point in time in 2001, transfer pricing was introduced. And the first year of assessment, I was working with PwC. Now, at that point in time, the way we used to manage or we used to report, those things has changed tremendously. A lot of things has evolved. Now, the major thing from a transfer pricing perspective or a global tax perspective, I have learned is to know your business. Do I know my business? Do I know what exact activity I am doing in the particular jurisdiction? I give you a recent example. Just last month we had a big debate. We had a 30 million business happening in Laos, and we are not present in Laos. Everybody is interested to do business in Laos because that's a very big business and there are future projects that are in pipeline. So we were approached that, okay, we want to do business like this. This is what are the expectations of the customer, and you give us suggestions what we can do. Now it's a project base. What we should be doing then? We should be opening an office in Laos for 3 years. That's not the culture of Danfoss, that you hire and fire after 3 years once the project is completed. So what we can do? Can we go and work with a consultant there? No, it will not be possible because we have to share a lot of our IP data. We are not interested to share our IP data with consultants. How we can do that? So what we did was we exactly broke down our activities into different parts. What exactly will be done in Laos? What will be done offshore? What will be done onshore? What are the DTAs? From which country we can do the business? Because it is important. If I am doing from India, there are, the DTAs may not permit, or even in some cases, I had an option to work or do the business from Malaysia, but I will not be able to do because there are DTAs which will not permit for me to stay there. Now, if the employees are going, which employees are going? So all these are becoming very important with the current landscape of business. Now, one may say that, okay, it's a problem of a multinational company, but what is the problem in India itself? The same problem. The same problem when I see Indian business, if you see the authorities, they are working on a very highly technical solution to understand the business and see where they can find a gap in our tax returns or the tax filing. So if somebody come and ask you, say any of the authorities, whether it is a direct tax or an indirect tax authority, they come and ask you that, okay, you have not submitted this return or you have not actually disclosed this income. The first thing is to explain. What we are going to explain? We have to explain because why we have not filed and why we have not disclosed that based on my activities. Whether that calls for my disclosure. I'm just giving a very high level. To understand the importance of understanding the business, it's not about always the case laws and not about, because if you go to judiciary, the first thing that will come from the tax authorities are that this is distinct from that case law. Now, that distinct word is very dangerous because you cannot refer that case law if somebody says that this is a distinct from that case law. So I cannot follow a path. I have to depend on my own submission. And my own submission has to be dependent on my understanding about the business. That is the importance of today's world. You know, we talk about the digital business. Now, is it not relevant? Is it only relevant for a multinational company? Yes, it is relevant for a multinational company. Where they are selling from. If somebody of you are in a multinational company, many of you may be already. Now, one of your subsidiary, they are selling directly to one of your customer in India. The sales are not going through you. Now, how it will impact you? Maybe sometime we are unaware that my sales team, they are supporting in India for a sales directly happening from abroad. Recently, I am working for a project for my company which actually trying to capture all this. There are 2-3 reasons for that. One of the reasons is to see that what the exposure is. And we were surprised with the data we have gathered that globally, almost 40% of our business is not within the jurisdiction. We are selling outside our jurisdiction and to a customer directly. Now you see from an Indian perspective, if I have a subsidiary in India, my sales team, I am incurring for my sales team here, and the sales and income is going abroad. Is my tax authority going to accept that position? Will they not tell that why I will allow you for the deduction of your sales team? Or why I will not consider you as a permanent establishment of that company? So therefore, my point is, with the changing landscape, we have to be very aware about what is going on in my business. And that is the key for us as a finance people in this changing landscape. Now everybody are very, all of you may have a very long futuristic career than me. Maybe I have 5-7 years or 10 years maximum, but all of you may have many long career. Some discussions come to my mind when somebody starts telling that, is AI going to take away my role? There is a probability. If I only think about that, okay, I will refer to this data, I will refer to this case law, that way I will not be standing out from a monotonous activity which can be taken over by a AI. So what I can do, I have to also change. I have to change. I have to understand business. And I have to be a business partner to give a solution which AI cannot give. So to do that, to starting is that we are knowledgeable, we have technical understanding about the tax landscape. Then I have to bridge with my business. And to do that, I have to understand the business and give a solution. That's how I feel. You see, some of the technicalities, we all know about BEPS 1. I am not going into that because that is going to be redundant some days after. It is going to be BEPS 2. Now, when it was introduced, it was so much, based on that bricks and mortars rule. But is this going to be relevant? Take one case example. Now here I cannot take the name of the company, so there are some abbreviation used. You may interpret what the company is. Now what they are doing, as I was telling, the G Italy is a 100% subsidiary of a G USA. Now what they were doing, provide support in selling activities in Italy where revenues are recognized. Very good. Now Italian clients are also invoiced from Ireland. That's what I gave the example of a direct sales where the income are not going into. But then Ireland's pay royalty to Netherlands. Now all this created an issue in Italy. So how this was solved? So there has to be a remuneration method, but which, I am not going into that detail, but this says that you need to understand your business and negotiate with your tax authorities after understanding the business so that you can negotiate for a remuneration method which is acceptable for the both the side. And to do that, I cannot apply a generic rule because the business are changing. Now, some days back, I saw one big case that was going on, and there were some issues also about paying the royalty from India. Now, why we pay royalty? Am I paying to a right company? For what purpose I am paying royalty? Now, if a tax authority asks me, very funny situation in 2004, and when I was handling that case, I went to a tax authority because he has added some of the local revenue into my international revenue, and that was the contentious issue I was handling at that point in time. So he was asking me a lot of questions, and the major question obviously is the charges from the intercompany or the group companies. So I was explaining. I was very young, I was very enthusiastic, so I was explaining, no, they have given me services for the finance also. It was written on the invoice that the finance support. So the DC asked me, okay, they have given you finance service, then what is your job? Why you are working in this company? After a lot of deliberation, then he told me, see, Vishwa, I have understood your point of view, but you tell me, you give me a year when your company is going to be profitable. You are not profitable, but still you are paying all these charges. Can you explain me? The same thing applies for royalty. Why I am paying royalty? If I am using some technology, that technology in an independent circumstances should give me some revenue and profitability. Maybe few years I'll have to invest. But I have to prove now I am using technology. Can I just pay royalty for any purpose? Trading royalty, trademark royalty. What is trademark royalty? What is the benefit I am deriving from paying all these charges? So it again boils down to that you have to understand each and every transaction, business processes, and then be ready with the answers. Now, this is another example. Now, I tell you one example what happened in India. I heard that happened, and there was some compliance issues that that has been carried on. One subsidiary company, they acquired another company some years back, and obviously for any acquisition they had created goodwill difference due to accounting process. Now, after some years, the business group, they thought that the employees has to be transferred to another subsidiary which is in that hierarchy. The company which acquired the business was not in that hierarchy, it is in under that business unit. So the employees has to be transferred. And it was transferred. Now, can it be done like that? So the point here is you have transferred, maybe you have a very good friendship with your auditors, to be very honest. You can do so. Auditors will not report, but can it be done like that? So the point here is every transactions, every point, you have to be a business partner because the businesses are changing. It is driven by business. We are only support. When I started these tax activities, the point was what we are doing, what we do actually, what tax team does. We feel very proud that we are having a lot of knowledge for our business. What is our activity? What we do? I was told, can you prepare one elevator speech for a tax department? I started thinking what I can talk about a tax department, how it helps the business. I started talking about the compliance. If you don't do the compliance, you will be in problem. My CEO told, okay, I understand. But then for that, I have PwC. I have ENY. Why I need the tax department then? I can go to any consultant. After some years, I realized and prepared an elevator speech where I told that, see, sir, the thing what I do is your business earns money, but it doesn't go to your pocket. A share is going to the government, and I am ensuring that only correct share is going to the government. Because if there is an incorrect shares goes to the government, that means your share will be reduced. You mean shareholders' shares. So I am not that unimportant in the business. I help you to do business in a compliant way so that your share of profit in terms of penalty, in terms of interest, those are reduced and your share increases. Whether it is in indirect tax, whether it is in direct tax, right? Somebody is in indirect tax. What is, you are only doing the compliance? No. Today you have all this, you are ensuring that your input credits are taken properly. If you don't do that, it is a cost of business. So it's not that simple that we say that tax is only a compliance. Tax is contributing and contributing in this way. But to do that, we have to also change the mindset and we have to start talking about business, how we are supporting business. And to do that, we have to know the business. You know, one of the important issues, sometime we don't refer, maybe all of you are very technical person, you always refer. Whenever you have a transaction with your intercompany subsidiary, are we always referring to DTAs? Because those are important. Those sometimes supersedes our, statutes. We have to be very careful. We talk about APAs, we talk about BAPAs, but then before going into that, are we referring to DTAs? Those are very important. Some of the case laws I have highlighted here, which says that we have to be very careful with the OECD guidelines. India is not a member of OECD per se, but they follows the OECD guidelines, and most of the things are part of the OECD guidelines. And DTAs, those are very important. You know, BAPES 2 is coming. That's the changing landscape. Now, why I have mentioned about OECD, because as I have told, that India follows a lot of OECD guidelines and it participates very actively in OECD discussions and the changing landscape of OECDs. Now we have to start tracking BAPES too. I have only 1 minute, right? Okay, I will try to complete. So we have to track BAPES too. Why we have to track? Is it the role of the group? If I am in a multinational company and if I am not a multinational company, is it not going to challenge me? Yes. So what I should do? If I start early, if I start understanding what the changes are, they are referring to pillar 1, pillar 2, how it impacts business. Those are very important to track from Indian subsidiary standpoint, because nowadays none of our local companies, if it is not a MNC, local means it is an Indian MNC or an Indian company per se, they are also exposed to a lot of global transactions, doing a lot of exports. If they are doing an export, whether they can be exposed to some of the PE rules in some of the countries. So let us start early to understand what are changing, how much it will impact my business cost. The problem what we see till now, just to conclude, one slide, just on this, what we have seen now till now is that the consensus has not reached between the countries. And if it doesn't happen very soon, then the risk is then there will be a double taxation. So that is the risk we have to track, and that's what my suggestion will be, that whatever guidelines is issued every year, latest guideline was something around July or August maybe they have issued. So Please track that one and see that you are doing. I had tried to capture some of those things, that what are the impacts from different departments. You know, I don't have to tell you that there are impacts. So every department has an impact. Please ensure that you are starting early. And some of the key points I have already discussed earlier slides. I hope I could make the points, because this was not a technical session and I am not a technical person. You are better technical person than me. So I have tried to avoid the technical discussion. I tried to provide you what my experience is working for these 20 years, seeing a lot of changes. And during a downturn, it is very important we as a tax team also be careful that we are not creating a pressure on the company. I have seen this happening in 2008. I have seen this happening in 2014. We all are facing the same situation currently. I think we don't have any time for question answers, but I will be open. You can send the questions. If there is any, I will be happy to answer. Hi. Thank you very much.
Sides? Yeah. To do the honors, I would like to call Mr. Rajesh Shukla from Tata Motors to felicitate Mr. Biswa Chatterjee.